All right. Hey, Skylanders fans, welcome back to the Skycast, episode 17. Today is May 30th. My name is Matt, and this is going to be a pretty interesting episode of the Skycast, I think, because we're actually doing the show live. I've got the Skylanders Mega Collector, Doug, on the line with me. How's it going, Doug?
Surly as ever.
So, Doug, let's go ahead and give everybody the rundown of how we're set up right now. We're actually streaming live on Twitch, so for all of our Twitch fans that are in the chat with us, special shout out to you. You're getting to hear the Skycast live for the first time, so hope that's enjoyable for you. And then for those of you actually listening on the podcast feed, expect this show to be maybe a little rough around the edges. I think we can say that. We're going to try to do this completely live with no editing, so you're going to hear background noise, you're going to hear my controller, buttons clicking and all that good stuff in the background, but we're going to try to make it a fun show for you because we actually have some really awesome stuff to talk about this week, right, Doug?
I don't know. It was pretty quiet this week.
Yeah. For once, we actually are not searching for the last minute for things to talk about. Not for once, but so let me set the scene for you. I'm actually playing a Chaos Doom challenge right now. So if you're hearing a lot of things and explosions and things in the background, that's me leveling up Blackout. And so yeah, my attention is going to be split between talking and discussing things on the Skycast and streaming, trying to keep our live viewers entertained. So I think I can pull it off, though. I'm pretty talented. So I just let the chaos pressure meter overflow right as I said that. So perfect timing.
If he can't, we'll be requesting and accepting applications for Matt's replacement. You can always send that to info@minikaboom.com as we always state at the end of the show.
So
we'll come to that.
A couple of our Twitch viewers have just identified a flaw in our plan, Doug. They say, "Oh no, there's no podcast to listen to on Monday." Oh well. Hey, here's the good news about that. I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but all the rumors that we know about are that we're going to get a Sky 5 announcement next week. So as soon as that happens, regardless of the day, Doug and I plan to rush out a special episode of the Skycast. So you will have that to listen to if we're lucky and if all the rumors prove to be true. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Doug. Why don't you go ahead and take us into the news, and let's talk about our news topics for this week.
Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is not nearly as thrilling as what everybody is anticipating me saying. First thing is going to be Gnarly Barkley is still confirmed for Toys R Us in the U.S. on June the 3rd, which is this Wednesday. And we have a new report on that to help support the fact that it's supposed to be on June the 3rd. We have reports that these are in the back room of some Toys R Us locations as per normal, and that people have checked these and that they are listed as register locked. And the fact that somebody went so far as to, if this is fiction, if they fictionally took the figure and fictionally checked it and gave us a fictional register lock, I think that's going a bit far to sell some fake news. So this to me concretes the fact that Gnarly Barkley is supposed to come as of June the 3rd.
Okay, well that's good news, I guess, if you're interested in Gnarly Barkley.
Who isn't interested in Gnarly Barkley?
Show of hands.
Abby was interested in Gnarly Barkley, and
Abby's interested in anything that makes me spend money. That's
well,
pretty,
I mean,
yeah.
For the most part, she's kind of shared your old opinion of the variants, unless it was something really cool. But she saw him, and he was a must buy. So.
Yep. And I should jump in here and mention that Abby is not going to be on the show with us tonight. She had more pressing matters to attend to. She's spending the night with her grandparents, and watching Big Hero 6, I believe, was on the agenda. So, and I'll also say real quick, if if our moderators, if our Twitch moderators could help us keep the chat informed of what we're doing, so they're not a little freaked out by why we're constantly talking and not engaging with the game or the audience as much as we normally would, we'd appreciate that. If anybody has any questions, just let them know. We're doing a live podcast tonight.
Yep. And if you guys also wouldn't care to go ahead and log a list of any questions that we might miss if people start asking questions before the live Q&A section at the end, if you wouldn't care to keep a running tally of what the questions were and who asked them, so that we can make sure that they all get addressed as best we're able.
Awesome. Okay, so Gnarly Barkley coming this week. Get him while he's hot, I guess. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll be around for a while. I don't see him being in short supply, but
yeah, it's the beginning of summer, so
yeah,
everybody should be in pretty plentiful supply, which leads into the second thing that I was going to talk about. We have a report, and granted, this is normally we report about U.S. availability and things like that, and that bleeds out to the rest of the world. Most folks, internationally that are fans of Skylanders typically know about what the time would be from when something is announced or released in the U.S. to when they would see it on their shelves. In some cases, like Italy and Germany, sometimes they get it before we do. Sometimes they get it after. But normally, wherever you're at, you know what the timetable will be. We have a Dark Spyro user by the name of Roger_Swee, SWE, in Sweden. Yep. I'm assuming he reported a listing.
His name's Roger. I think it's a safe bet.
Well, I'm covering all the bases.
Yeah.
He reported a listing that was found. Didn't say what game shop it was, but found a listing for Wave 6, and the listing was for, and it's literally saying before each character name, Skylanders, TT, Trap Team, Single Pack, W6, Wave 6, All Stars.
Okay.
And in that all-star listing are High Five, Echo, Batspin, Trailblazer, Blackout, and Spotlight.
Awesome.
The Dark Spyro folks have taken this to mean that they're going to be some sort of special promotional release, and it's going to have some sort of special packaging, and you are not going to get my money again because I have these guys. But my take on this, and I said that on that particular forum topic, I'm thinking that this is the first of the semi-custom waves that we usually see during the summer every year after the final figures of a particular Skylanders game have been released. I'm thinking because High Five and Batspin, in addition to Echo, Trailblazer, Blackout, and Spotlight, they sold really well. Echo, was really short-packed. Trailblazer, it's been a long time since he's been on shelves. Blackout and Spotlight, they were brand new. I mean, they weren't short-packed, but they were brand new. Everybody needed those elements, in order to be able to do stuff with light and dark, especially if they didn't have the Trap Masters yet. High Five, he tended to be piled up high on the shelves, but he disappeared after a while. And so my take on the whole All-Stars situation is that this is just their nickname for the first wave that's going to come out of custom packed figures, just to make sure that everybody has access to these figures. I'm kind of hoping that High Five and Trailblazer are short packed of one per, giving an extra one to an extra two to Echo. But from the fact that cores are normally packed 12 to a case, and there are 6 core figures listed here, they're probably going to have equal pack status, so they're probably going to be packed 2 per.
That's okay. I mean, if they're equal, then at least there's going to be equal availability for all of them. So
yeah, you're gonna have twice the chance to get Echo that you normally would. Twice nothing is well.
Yeah, but if hopefully it's a case where they're equally packed and they give a good number of boxes to each store, so that there's stock available for these finally.
True. My honestly, my hope was that they were going to release just a case of 12 with 4 each of Echo, Blackout, and Spotlight, and they would have that not necessarily be a wave, but be kind of like the entire boxes of Chaos Traps that went out to Toys R Us locations, just to get those out there and into fan hands. This isn't to say that it's not going to happen that way, that you might not see a supplementary pack that way, but right now this is the best report that we have, that
you're not going to have to go digging through the Wave 2, Wave 3, I can't remember which one Echo is part of, to try and get the one per that she was part of it.
I think it was 4, actually. 3 was Christmas, and she wasn't in that, and it was the one after that. So, anyway, speaking of figure availability, I was at a Walmart today, and they had bukus and bukus of Flipwreck and Fling Kong on the shelf, as well as Trap Masters and all that good stuff. So, any rumors that are still lingering that Walmart's getting out of the Skylanders business, I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Pittsburgh Pirates in baseball.
Okay.
They're not getting out of baseball. They're just really, really bad at it.
Yeah, that's true. They're not.
I can say that because I have historically been a Pirates fan since I used to live near Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Go Pirates.
Go baseball. Go.
Hey,
go Don.
If you go look historically, Pittsburgh is where people go to learn to play football and baseball really well, and then take a high-paying contract to play for some other team.
All right, cool. So hopefully anybody who didn't get their hands on Echo when she was hard to get will have better luck this time around. All right, Doug, let's talk about the big thing that's on everybody's mind.
Okay, the big thing. I spotted this right around the time that it was first being reported yesterday evening, or I guess technically early this morning. It was about 1:32 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. Sky 5 has been unofficially confirmed. And I say unofficially because, of course, Activision is still mum about it. Apparently sometime last week, and I didn't see any official release on this, so I didn't put it in the news, but apparently there were a handful of reporters that reported independently on their Twitter feeds that they got invited to some sort of Skylanders event and are having to hold the information that they have under embargo. They're basically having to be quiet about everything that they heard and saw. So probably last week the media got this news, but
well, it was E3 Judges Week last week. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's typically where a select group of the game press gets to go and look at games that will be shown at E3 prior to E3 and evaluate them for the awards that get awarded at E3. You always see such and such game was E3 best in show or whatever. Well, that's how they pick that. They actually bring some people in ahead of time, and they pick all those awards ahead of time, so they have to see the games ahead of time. So that
I think they shouldn't do it ahead of time. I think that in order to improve everybody's E3 experience, they should make those reporters stand in line just like all of the fans, and that would basically if you have a great game and you want to make sure that lots of people see it, well, by God, you better make sure that lots of people see it, because your press, they're 47th in line, and that dude up there, with a bag full of cookies and a pea bag strapped to his thigh that ain't letting go of the joystick, you better rush him off.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of people that would disagree with you on that, but most of the gaming press, in fact. But
well, that's because they get treated special. If they had to wait in line like any small press or folks who are peripherally enough related to the media that get invited to E3 that have to stand in long, horrendous lines to view new things, they would take some of these developers to task and make it so that everybody got to see things, equally. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's the news? Let's talk about what we're talking about.
Yep. Skylander Superchargers. The name is mostly official. Amazon screwed up and posted the listings for several different consoles last night. They posted the details early, and by the time I got around to checking on the news again later this afternoon, early evening, and clicking on the links. Oh, they 404'd.
Yep.
They're gone. Amazon pulled it down.
But once it's on the internet, it's out there. You cannot hide it. We all know how to take screenshots.
Which I did, and hopefully Matt will post later to minikaboom.com. I got the initial link that I followed, which went to a PS3 listing. I went ahead and backed up and did the search for just Skylander Superchargers and saw listings for the PS3, PS4, 3DS, and Wii U. And then I went into the PS4 since that's the preferred platform for Matt and I, and went ahead and did a screenshot there just to make sure that the details didn't change from platform to platform. Okay, the listings as they were, or the details of the listings as they were on Amazon. First bullet, starter pack includes video game, new portal of power, 2 Skylanders superchargers, Spitfire and Supershot Stealth Elf, 1 Skylanders vehicle, hot steak, and collection poster featuring the complete set of Skylanders superchargers and their vehicles.
Awesome. So, are we thinking that Spitfire is the prototype figure that we saw a couple of weeks ago?
That's what the rumbling, of folks who have checked out that news, are reporting. I'm inclined to agree. At this point, even if he wasn't necessarily the one who was going to be included, they would probably go ahead and shove him in the box just to keep the overall exposure to a minimum until they can actually get ahead of the news.
Yeah.
I have to say that I'm a little disappointed that there is another starter stealth elf. I mean,
yeah, I think you're not the only one.
she's not one of my favorite characters. She's not one of your favorite characters. I guess some little kids like them, like her. Maybe it's the whole girl power thing. Maybe it's little girls see an empowered girl figure. But honestly, there are better, more interesting empowered girl figures in Skylanders. Take Roller Brawl. There you go.
Yeah,
you don't get much more empowered than that.
She's an undead figure, and there's probably some. She's not really the poster child, She's the poster child we want, but not the one we need, Where's Falcone?
Exactly. Some people are speculating that the hot steak vehicle is literally going to be a T-bone that people drive around in.
Okay. I'm down with that.
I think, for my tastes, that's a little silly. I'm thinking it's probably supposed to be hot streak.
Doug, I just killed a giant hippopotamus pinata that's trying to hit me with a giant lollipop. So I don't know that silly is really a concern that we have about this game anymore.
Well, I mean, there's cartoonish, and then there's driving around in one of the Flintstone mobiles. I mean,
yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
I'll put a pass on that one. But anyway. Another thing I'm excited about on that first bullet point is the fact that it seems like they're making a specific point of saying, hey, we're not hiding half of our game on an incomplete poster that we're never going to fix this time around. You're actually going to be able to get an in-game poster of what everything that you can buy is going to be, which to me is fantastic.
Well, they gave us a poster last time. It just had a bunch of question marks on it.
Yeah,
so.
it was half done. You didn't know what was what, and they didn't bother to put out another one later on. If they were going to do that, then if the light and dark were truly going to be the big surprises that they were, they should have carefully folded up each poster with everything printed on it and gone ahead and put it in, the back or the bottom of those packs. You might have ended up with 2 if you bought both the light and the dark, but at least you would have had an actual full poster without a bunch of stickers on it.
Yep. Okay, what's our next bullet point here?
Okay, and I don't know why they bullet pointed this 3 times. This really should have been one paragraph. It's basically the story of the game, to sum it up, or their vague overview. Skylands is in peril. Chaos has unleashed
Go figure.
Yeah.
Skylands is in peril.
Well,
who's shocked by this?
It wouldn't be a. Honestly, I think it's probably the Mabu are in peril, but
yeah. Okay.
Skylands is in peril. Chaos has unleashed his most evil weapon yet, the Doom Station of Ultimate Doomstruction.
Okay.
Do you think they could have fit Doom in there anymore? Next up, Chaos will be hiring Gurr of Invader Zim fame to to sing the Doom song.
And we'll get the Space Marine from Doom to be one of the Skylanders.
There you go. With all of the Skylands on the verge of collapse, a special team called the Superchargers has been assembled to pilot an unstoppable fleet of incredible vehicles.
Cool. So now that we've got pretty much confirmation on vehicles, Doug, I wonder how this is going to impact Flynn and his role as an NPC in the game, because he's generally the guy who gets you from A to B in the game. You need to go somewhere. Flynn flies you there. So is he going to be useless now?
To address that a little bit, the third bullet point after that. Now you and the Superchargers must embark on epic adventures over land, undersea, and through the sky to stop Chaos and save Skylands.
Okay.
So, if
If anything, I'd say he will probably be something of, and this is definitely not a one-to-one comparison, but he's going to be something of a Nick Fury character. He's basically going to have, his version of a helicarrier where you have the smaller vehicles on it, and then he'll go and drop you wherever you need to go.
Okay, so he's
fleet,
he's fleet transport, but you're still doing, point A to point B travel in a vehicle.
That's my thought on it, definitely. I don't think they would cut Flynn out of it, especially since they went so far as to basically destroy all faith we had in the story scrolls this time around to put his boom commentary in it, which I can't complain about. I thought they were funny, but after a while it was like, okay, yeah, this is wearing thin. Come on,
well,
Flynn.
I certainly would not want to see him be gone from the game. I love Patrick Warburton and his voice acting, and really want that character to stick around. I think he's really funny, adds a nice character to the game. So,
yeah, as long as they don't bring back Rufus, I think we're good.
Yeah, everybody would riot if they did that. Okay, so
as I said before, the Amazon search showed listings for the PS3, the PS4, the 3DS, and the Wii U. Dark Spyro reported as also seeing a version for the Wii showing up, although with modified gameplay and content specifically noted. So it looks like the Wii has not yet been completely left behind, despite some of our desperate hopes, but at least they are specifically saying, hey, we nerfed this, deal with it.
I think they're going to port the 3DS versions of the game to the last gen consoles, or at least to the Wii. Or at least they'll port those to the 3DS or something. Somehow there's going to be a less capable version of the game so that we can have a more capable version.
I think you were right the first time. I think the 3DS version is probably going to get ported to the Wii, seeing as how relatively recently, somewhere in the last 3 to 6 months, I saw a thing online where they showed, I think it was Twilight Princess for the 3DS, and it looked like almost, if not as good on the 3DS as it did on the Wii. So basically it was pointing out, hey, the 3DS hardware is just as capable, if not maybe a little more so than the Wii. So it'll probably be those two that are interchanging from here on out. One thing that I noticed that was an interesting lapse is there is currently no listing for an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One version, which have been present for at least the last game, if not the last 2 games. I know that the PS4 got a backwards version of Swap Force coming out, even though it wasn't around. I don't think the PS4 was around when Swap Force dropped, but I can't remember if the Xbox One got it or not.
Give me just a second, Doug. I'm fixing a little glitch with the stream here.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, I think I have it resolved now. We've been having some interesting problems with OBS lately. New version came out, and there's some strange things going on. But okay, I'm back. I'm good. Sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the Twitch viewers who were seeing less of the game than you should have been.
Oh, no problem. So again, to sum up in case the audio dropped off, so at the moment we're not seeing any reported listings for an Xbox 360 or Xbox One version, but I'm thinking that will probably correct itself. One thing that was also curiously absent, and at this point it's still, all of this is rumor mill, but this is pure rumor mill, and honestly probably has a little bit of substantiation. We just haven't seen it yet. We're not seeing any talk anywhere of development of a tablet version this time around, which I think is a real shame. It's been reported without true sales figures shown, but it's been loosely reported here and there that the tablet version didn't do nearly as well as they thought it would, and not nearly as well as the 3DS or any of the mainstream console ones. So
that's surprising. I would have not thought that would be the case. I thought the tablet version would have done pretty well.
Yeah, especially when Amazon had it on sale for like $20 a couple of times, and then there was the code you could plug in where you could get it for 10.
Well, now we know why it was on sale. It obviously was doing poorly, and they wanted to try to move some of them. So.
Very possibly. I'm going to say that I'm really disappointed if that turns out to be the case. I haven't done a whole lot with my tablet version, but I like the fact that I had it as an option that I could pick up and take the whole game with me. And if you bought 2 of them, you could actually have 2 controllers to play, side by side, versus somebody having to hold the screen and use the controls on there and shake it around as they played it, and then the other person having to follow however they were moving it and play with the controller.
Okay, so since we had an Amazon listing, regardless of how unofficial it was, did anybody happen to check and see if there were technical details about the game listed, such as number of players, online play capability, anything like that, that typically gets put in a product listing on Amazon?
You know, that's a fantastic question, and it was 2 in the morning, 1:32 in the morning, so I didn't. Pulling it up, the product details did not actually list anything as far as number of players. It just specifically said, domestic shipping, international shipping, the Amazon ASIN number, media, video game, average customer review, and product warranty, and then it just, went down to the fact, hey, you can't buy this. Click here to sign up.
Average customer review, best game ever.
Be the first to review this game. And if I'd have been a little more awake and maybe a little less snarky, I might have done it.
Yeah. Okay, well, so it sounds like we're going to have to wait for our rumored official announcement that's coming this week to find out any of those details. Hopefully they'll give us those details at the announcement, but I wouldn't put it past them to be somewhat cagey about those things for at least a little while. Either they're going to tell us about it right away if it's something that's going to make us very happy, or they're just not going to say anything about it, hoping that we, won't really notice. But I think it's a safe bet if they don't mention online play in the announcement that we're not getting it.
Very possibly. And just to be controversial, just to be contrary, I just now noticed this on the Amazon screenshots that I took. They are listing this rated as everyone 10 plus. So now Abby is no longer allowed to play Skylanders because she's not 10.
Okay, well,
ageism at its finest.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder what could have bumped up the rating.
Honestly, they were probably all rated like that. I just happened to see it in this listing and thought I'd make a snit of it for humor's sake.
Well, I'm breathing a little sigh of relief here. We went into the episode 16. I don't know if I'm sure you guys have probably all listened to last week's episode of the Skycast, where we learned about the leak via Travis Pastrano's hope I said his name right, Instagram account, and we really leaned into that pretty hard, even though it was completely unconfirmed and pretty weak as far as source information goes. So I'm breathing a little sigh of relief to know that we did not get trolled in a major way by that news, and that it is somewhat official. Cuddle Muffin says Trap Team is 10 plus as well. So,
boo! Toys for Bob, boo!
Yeah.
10, come on.
All right, so Skylanders Superchargers is a real thing. I think it's undeniable at this point. Didn't you say just before the show, Doug, that Dark Spyro officially put up a forum for it and everything? So that's pretty much confirmation as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, Dark 52 went ahead and created the official, Skylanders Supercharger separate section, and I know that you had talked about doing a sum up of Trap Team, and I had joked about it being an in memoriam. Well, somebody literally did an in memoriam topic on Dark Spyro in the Trap Team forum.
You stole my idea.
I heard funeral music playing through my head while they were like, I remember when Echo came out and she was so old, I can't talk about it.
Well, hopefully Sky 5, I gotta stop calling it Sky 5, Skylanders Superchargers will bring enough features to us that we won't feel the need to go back to Trap Team. But I think Trap Team is a absolutely fantastic game. Let's take a quick break here, Doug. I need to poll the Twitch chat. I have reached the point where I can upgrade Blackout and choose an upgrade path. So let me ask the chat here which path I should choose. Do you have any thoughts on that, Doug?
I do not.
Okay.
I have not played with that character enough to be able to tell you.
Let's see what they say. I think Cuddle Muffin has an opinion about this Prince of Darkness. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably play with gusto.
No. Okay. I have my answer. I went with the Prince of Darkness path for Blackout. So let's check this out. Okay, continue, Doug. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that is going to be it for the news that we've got right now. We don't have any more
Oh, Jana just
rumors,
contradicted
good or
Cuddle,
bad.
so now.
No, you're gonna have to reset Blackout and start over.
I'm gonna have to buy another Blackout and level them both up. I'm sorry, Jana.
Ready for another magical upgrade?
Doug, are you still there? Did I lose you?
No, I'm still
Okay.
here. We're done with the news.
Fantastic. Okay, so Skylanders Superchargers is a real thing. There is a rumored June 3rd official announcement, press conference, whatever you want to call it. So that will be, let's see, today's the 30th, so that'll be
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yep, that sounds like a pretty good day for a press conference. So
As it is, we're gonna get Gnarly Barkley. We're maybe gonna get Cobra Cadabra at Toys R Us. Maybe be able to finish out with the traps. That's just me rumor mongering, hoping that Toys R Us will get one shipment of everything and I can go once and not have to keep going back and back and back.
that's going to be a huge hype day. I've got my volume turned down, so I don't know, but I'm guessing that everybody listening to this just heard Persephone say ready for another magical upgrade about 1 million times in the background underneath all this.
If I never have to hear that again, it will be too soon.
So I've fully upgraded Blackout, and he is shooting out these orbs of darkness that are leaving these giant pools on the ground that I'm assuming are going to be very damaging to enemies. So I'm excited to try this out. Anyway, if we do get the 6-3 official announcement, like we're planning to, then Doug and I will get together as quickly as we can, pending work and family obligations, and we will do a very impromptu special episode of Skycast just to get some reactions out there, so you don't have to wait another week to hear us talk about the official news as it drops. I know that I didn't ask you ahead of time about that, Doug, but I'm assuming you're on board with that idea.
What, the special episode concept?
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as there isn't anything else crazy going on, I should be on board.
All right, cool. Well, that's it for news, as if that's not enough. We finally know the name of this game. We finally have some details. Very, very excited about that. As far as in-game news, Splatoon is a very cool video game. I don't know if that necessarily counts as Skylanders news, but we did stream Splatoon last night, and I enjoyed it. It took a little bit of getting used to, and I'm still not really fantastic at the game, but I can definitely see the appeal. I want to take a minute, Doug, and I want to talk about amiibos. I know that you've tried a couple of times to talk about amiibos in the news section, and I've shut you down, but I want to just...
This is your show, and you'll do what you want.
No, I just want to go on record as now having some first-hand experience in trying to get amiibos. The amiibo situation is ridiculous, and Nintendo needs to do something about it. However, I think that what they're doing about it is causing the problem to begin with. I think that they've very craftily engineered
Artificial scarcity?
artificial scarcity for these things. So my experience is that we bought Splatoon, and we wanted to buy these Splatoon amiibos to enjoy with the game. I had a work obligation, and I was not able to be at the store when it opened. But I was there a couple of hours after retailers opened on Friday, and there were no Splatoon amiibos. There were no new amiibos at all. The same Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Bowser, Peach, and Pikachu that have been sitting on shelves for months are still sitting there. So I asked a couple of the retail managers. I asked a guy at GameStop in particular, how many of these did you get in? And the response across the board was, oh, hardly any. 3, maybe 4. That's insane. Like, what are you doing, Nintendo? What are you doing? Do you not like money? Like,
They're hard to make. They're
plastic is tough to come by, guys.
You'll never find excreted plastic action figure like toys or little toy
Yeah.
statues. I mean,
I just don't understand it at all.
plastic is hard to make.
I was lucky enough today to find a Pac-Man and a Silver Mario. I'm gonna hold those up to the stream real quick here. Just 1 second.
How did you find the Silver Mario?
So I was lucky enough to find Pac-Man, who I bought because he's my favorite character in Smash. And
Who did you have to shank to get the Silver Mario?
well, apparently Silver Mario is not hard to come by because the GameStop that I went to had about 9 of them on the shelf. So
They don't now.
no, well, I mean, if they were still there today, this is a full, 30 hours after they dropped yesterday. So I imagine that the Silver Mario is not actually going to be rare, but I picked one up just in case it turned out to be rare. But anyway, that's my Amiibos rant. Anybody that says that Nintendo is not artificially, creating scarcity in this marketplace isn't paying good attention, in my opinion.
Or they're trolling.
Well, either way, there's no way you can look at this and say, "Oh yeah, there's no excuse for it." Basically, I mean, at this point, these things are in demand. It's not like the first wave where we really didn't know if anybody was going to buy these things. Well, guess what? They are, and you've known that for quite a few months, and you have kind of the biggest new IP game release in a long time coming out, and you've got figures that unlock in-game content for the first time, actual levels and in-game content unlocked by these amiibos, and you send 4 of them to a store.
Yeah, not even a full case. 4.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm going by this guy's account. I wasn't there. I didn't unpack the cases. They may have gotten 6, and he put 2 aside for his employees or whatever. But still, in any number that is not in the multiple dozens of those things is not the right number of those to be shipping to stores. So, okay, Amiibo rant over. Let's move on. In-game news. Well, this is kind of an interesting scenario because we're actually playing Skylanders right now, which is weird. But I just unlocked all of Blackout's powers, and I'm just kind of rolling around in the town area, which is probably not as entertaining as it could be for our Twitch viewers. But I did want to take a minute to concentrate and talk. But I'm going to go back into the Chaos Doom Challenge now and try out some of these special powers. I'm going to go to one of the lower levels here. I haven't played much Skylanders. We talked last week about my birthday party and why we didn't stream last week. So, Doug, what about you? Have you been playing any Skylanders this week?
No.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I want to say about in-game news. Let's go ahead and...
I stared lovingly at my new figures that I haven't opened yet. Does that count?
Which ones haven't you opened yet?
I have not yet popped open Enigma, and then Fling Kong and Flipwreck are still sitting in their packages.
Okay. Well, those are 3 really good figures. You should open those first chance you get.
Well, first chance I get. And I have not actually loaded in... I know that I've not loaded in the very last 1, if not 2, Eon's Elite figures. I know that they're sitting on... Basically, everybody's sitting on my entertainment center waiting to, for me to have, half an hour, with my wife without, having to chase down the little one, and actually be at home to play, to put everybody in and update the collection.
Yeah. Awesome. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
All right, well, let's jump in and talk about who our Skylander of the week is this week. So this week, Doug, it's your turn to choose Skylander of the week, and I think you've got a pretty amazing choice for us this week. So tell me who it is.
I picked Ghost Roaster again.
No, you didn't. Stop trolling me.
They can't see the notes. They don't know if I'm ad-libbing. Go along with it.
All right. Well, as you say the name, I'm gonna put that character on the portal. So get ready. 3, 2, 1.
Zap.
Zap is our Skylander of the week. And again, in a unique set of circumstances, we have a an opportunity to actually play with our Skylander of the Week while we are talking about our Skylander of the Week. So you
well,
want to
one of us gets to.
That's right. You want to go ahead and read the bio, Doug?
I have to pick and I have to read the bio. Okay.
A Skylander from the fire element.
Nope.
Well, I'm playing the game, so
Wow, that was a long enough response. It sounded like you actually took me seriously.
no, I was just running around with Zap, remembering how cool he is.
If we were bigger than we are, then you'd have seen all the news media outlets going, oh, Skycast on air fight.
Yep.
Zap was born into the royal family of water dragons, but a riptide washed him to a distant sea where he was raised by electric eels. Growing up, he excelled in everything and even created a special gold harness that allows him to carry an endless electrical charge and shock things at a great distance. Zap also proved to be a gifted racer, outstripping any opponent, with the possible exception of the Dolphins. With them, it became a good-natured challenge to see who could keep up with Zap, but an electric current in his wake often reminded them who they were dealing with. Despite his mischievous streak, Zap grew to be a true protector of the seas and Skylands.
Okay, so Zap is he is obviously a water Skylander. He originally appeared in Skylander Spyro's Adventure. So he was an original character from the original game. And,
He did get reposed in Giants.
Yep, he got reposed in Giants. Is that the only repose of Zap?
That is the only repose. They picked Stinky Gilgrunt for the Eon's Elite, much to my dismay.
As much as I like Gilgrunt, I think Zap is a much better character. Zap was our go-to PvP character back in the day, just because he's also a fantastic character for doing time runs and speed runs, and if you're going back and doing heroic challenges in Spyro's Adventure or Giants, and obviously those are timed, he's a great character for that as well.
Yeah, and I think Emily might have talked about it one of the couple of times she's been on with us about how she used to go water skiing with Zap, because I would play with Zap the whole time and she would usually be Spyro or maybe Drobot, somebody who could fly, and basically they couldn't keep up with me, and because I was player one, it would go ahead and follow me wherever I was going, and you'd have that hard white line between the two characters and her just getting drug around wherever the back of the screen was, wherever I was going and sliding on slime everywhere.
So what kind of powers are we looking at on Zap, Doug?
A whole lot of electrical powers.
Fun tip for you kids out there, water and electricity
Do not mix.
equals pain and potential death. So
Okay, and I normally don't do this part of it, so I apologize if I ruin everybody's day by going out of Matt's normal order. But
so the way you do it is you read the things that are on.
well, I'm reading the things, but
Okay.
I don't know if it's basic abilities and then upgrades and then soul gem, or if it's basic abilities and then soul gem and then the rest, or
It's pretty much just however it shakes out each week. I don't think I do it anywhere near consistently. So
way to spoil the movie making magic that we had going, Matt. Good job.
I don't think anybody's under any kind of false impressions that we're professionals. So.
Okay, Zap's basic abilities are Lightning Breath. It's his primary ability. He spits out pure electricity. And then the Sea Slime Slide, which is his secondary ability. He slides on a trail of sea slime that enemies, according to this, they become stuck in it. I think they just kind of slide around. Maybe that's why
They're getting stuck in it really well right now.
Are they stuck in it?
Yeah,
it's
I'm
been
trying
forever
it
since
out.
I played with him. I thought it was one of the things like you see in cartoons where they step on a banana peel and their feet just kind of go.
I actually think they might have improved it a little bit because it seems to be behaving slightly differently than I remember it in previous games. So
That's pretty cool.
that may not be the case, but yeah, they're totally like frozen in place, which is cool.
And then there is his Soul Gem ability, which I have never paid attention to, which apparently I wish that I had. It is called Love of the Sea, and it is something to allow him to regenerate health in water, which is
Yep.
yeah. And
I
apparently
remember that.
in Swap Force, and it's saying on the wiki, it's only saying in Swap Force, he also regenerates health in water power zones and not just in water.
Okay, so if it's a Skylanders of the water element or more powerful in this zone, he
In Swap
regenerates
Force.
health.
Yeah, he regenerates. I don't know if that's true in Trap Team or not, but apparently
Apparently, Vicarious Visions is basically like right in line with me. They boost the powers of my favorite characters and create some of my all-time favorite characters. So, you know, if you guys are ever hiring, or if you need a PR person, or you want to pay me to sit in the corner and go, "You guys are awesome," you know, just let me know.
Yeah, as soon as you get that job, I could probably use a job too. So, yeah, try to work that out for me.
Yeah, I'll do what I can. Okay, Zap's basic upgrades. First one is Electro Slime. Sea Slime can be electrified by his Lightning Breath. Stay a while. Zap Sea Slime stays electrified much longer. Megavolt. Lightning Breath does more. It does more increased damage, which seems like a unnecessary extra modifier there. Then Wave Rider. Zap can summon and ride a great wave that washes away enemies, that has always been fun.
You know, I actually don't think I have that ability unlocked, so I may have to go buy that here in just a moment.
Boo, sir, boo. Actually,
no, I do. There it is.
If you've got a Soul Gem ability, you have to have that unlocked.
Yeah, so there's that. If you guys are watching on the stream, there's me riding the wave, hang 10, gnarly.
Okay, his first upgrade path is called Tesla Dragon. It further develops his Lightning Breath and Wave attacks, which I'm thinking is the one that I ended up taking. Lightning strikes twice. Lightning Breath bounces off of enemies, objects, and walls. Electric Wave. Wave attack does increased damage. And Tesla Storm. Lightning Breath attack does even more increased damage. Which, again, that still sounds wrong the way they've edited that.
They want you to know that it does more.
Second upgrade path is Slime Serpent. And that consists of basically things that develop the sea slime attacks. First is Strength in Numbers, create more sea slimes.
Get off my treasure. Sorry.
Charged with Punishment, automatically electrify all sea slimes, which seems like that would be pretty awesome. And then more Electrode Slime. Enemies take even more damage when stuck in electrified sea slime.
That sounds really good to me, honestly. I love the sea slime. I love, like, jumping in right in front of a big group of guys, dropping the sea slime, watching them just stand there and you know, it's great.
I really like that too, but I ended up choosing the first path just because I like spammy characters. You know, I can't help it. You know, if there's somebody that you can abuse their ability by hammering the button, you know, faster and harder than your second player or your opponent or whatever, then I will definitely be drawn to that character and have a lot of fun with them. So the ability to zap people more with zap versus, you know, having to do the setup for the slime appeals to me more. I definitely really like and appreciate the slime ability. It's just it wouldn't be my primary choice there. It takes a little bit more to set up.
I can understand that. You like things the easy way, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, there is that.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so apologies. I'm concentrating on playing with Zap as opposed to listening to you. So have we covered all of his powers? In other words, I'm not paying attention to you, Doug.
Remember, everybody,
hey, I'm trying to
that
give
email address, if you need to send in your resumes, is info@minikaboom.com.
Hey, now, I can change that email address if I need to.
You're too busy doing other things. You won't.
I was trying to give a good demo of the character on our first ever live Skylander of the Week. So, you know, you got your job, I've got mine. That's how I was looking at it.
Well, I want my job to be to tell the Vicarious Visions guys, good job.
Well, again, if that works out for you, congratulations, and hire me shortly thereafter.
I will tell you how the 3D printer smells.
Oh man, I bet they do have a rad 3D printer.
Yeah, Toys for Bob and, you know, their subsidiaries definitely do. That's been reported in most interviews.
I want a 3D printer so bad. Okay, we're getting off topic a little bit. So, Doug, if somebody's out there doesn't have Zap and they want to get a hold of him, what are their options? The usual Amazon, eBay hunt, or what are we looking at with Zap?
Pretty much. The Power of Prayer is also one that you would throw in there because I don't recall this, but
I got into it relatively early. I went ahead and just bought everybody before apparently there was the huge Skylanders drought of 2011, 2012. It was like the right after Christmas and the right up until summer of the year of Spyro's Adventure. It was just murder to try and get a hold of these guys.
Yep, I am getting my health back in water, so I definitely do have Zap's Soul Gem.
That's good.
So what kind of prices are we looking at on Zap in the used market?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Let me eBay that real quick just to figure out what's going on with him.
Let me Google that for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I know that he's not as ridiculous as things like, say, Ghost Roaster was, or Boomer. Although why you would be super duper hard trying to get your hands on a Boomer, I'm still a little bit puzzled. But
I've also, while you're looking that up, I'll say I've seen a fairly good number of him at GameStop used. I've seen him, fairly often on the shelf there. So that may be another decent way to get a hold of him.
Looks like he is in about the $5 to $10 range, depending on whether he's loose, whether he's complete. Looks like, of course, the factory sealed ones are going to be more so than anybody else, or than the loose ones are. From what I can see here, it looks like I'm only seeing one, and that's actually packaged with another character that's single packed complete. It looks like about $12 to $15 probably complete. I'm actually showing some people selling his 3-pack, which, if I recall correctly, I think that's how I got Zap, was in a 3-pack. They're showing that for roughly like $25, $30, which isn't terrible for a Spyro's Adventure release at this point.
Yeah, another thing that I'll point out, I think part of the reason why a lot of us love Zap so much, those of you who are pretty new to Skylanders, you probably don't recall, but Spyro's Adventure and Giants, the characters could not jump. So mobility was huge in those games, even more so than it is now. In Giants, the Giants characters were so slow and so laborious to use, and so having a character like Zap that could really get around the screen fast, get from A to B very quickly, I mean, that was a very important ability for a Skylander to have back then. Now there's so many characters that are out there that are speedy and that can get around really quick, but he was kind of one of the rare really fast Skylanders back in the day. Right, Doug?
Well, I mean, technically he still kind of is. There aren't an incredible number of Skylanders that are super duper speedy. I know Roller Brawl, can zip around a little bit. Past that, I'm not thinking of anybody who is really truly just, pedal to the metal, flat out, screaming, running through the levels as quickly as you absolutely can.
Yeah.
To cover the Series 2 version of him as well, let's go ahead and look at prices on that. Prices for Series 2, and if it's going to be loose, that's going to be one thing. It looks like loose is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $8 to $10 loose, and looks like it doesn't matter for the most part whether he's complete or just the figure, as far as that's concerned. When Series 2 Zap was released, he was not ever released with a single release. He was released in a Skylanders Giants battle pack with the Scorpion Striker Catapult, and also with the first release of Hot Dog. I'm showing, it looks like prices on that, everything I'm seeing as far as that's concerned are still sealed. Looks like those are going to be between like $20 and $30 depending on where you get it. As these are Skylanders, Spyro's Adventures, and Giants figures, you're probably not going to find them on your shelves anywhere, and you're going to end up having to go to auctions or third-party resellers at this point. You might luck out and find some long forgotten under the shelves. Matt and I were actually talking about that pre-show where our local targets have been, turning up stuff that, we haven't seen in forever. Mine last week turned up a completely beat up to the point where I wouldn't try and subject it to someone, Easter egg carded version of Frino. And then, earlier today, Matt managed to find an Imaginext toy for his son that had been out of print off the shelves for like a year or so. So it doesn't hurt to take a look at Target right now. Apparently they're doing some serious spring cleaning.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, those prices all sound, fairly reasonable to me. Zap is definitely worth picking up at pretty much all those prices that I heard. So good luck getting your hands on him. And Doug, thanks for picking Zap to be our Skylander of the week.
No problem.
All right. So I guess let's go ahead and do Portal Masters Anonymous, right?
Do we have to? I mean,
it's your thing, man. If you want to move right on to fan feedback, I will totally leave that up to you.
Nah, I better get through this so we can get it down and get it out of the way.
Okay.
We had talked about it. I hadn't initially intended to do this, but since there was some confusion about the series I was doing of Chase and retailer exclusive variants, I'm going to go ahead and close that up with a series of non-Chase, non-retailer exclusive variants, just to close out all of the variants that are currently known about and populated everywhere. While I was doing that,
let me jump in real quick. Sorry, for the benefit of our non-live audience, I just switched to Fling Kong to try to put a few more levels on him while you're talking about our variants there, Doug.
Okay, there was one thing that I left out as far as the exclusives were concerned. There was the metallic Series 1 Shroom Boom. Apparently, it was always and currently still is in most locations exclusive to Toys R Us, and I miss that fact. It was a retailer exclusive. I didn't think about him at all. He was part of an exclusive giveaway. I can't remember exactly what it was. I know one of the ones that I don't remember what the first one was anyway. The one that I got in on it was like the first 12 people who showed up at Toys R Us on a certain day, pre-Swap Force, got one for free. I ended up getting one. My wife ended up getting one. I think we had to maybe show a picture of him from Instagram and got them. So I think you ended up with the one that I got for free, and since they were cutting the bottoms out of them to Sharpie over the barcode so that they couldn't be returned, even though you can't return things at Toys R Us without a receipt, I went ahead and gave Matt the one that had the ruined packaging, and then bought one of the leftovers for my wall. And then I noticed that apparently for everybody who came in after the first 12, they had these exclusive no, it was Trap Team. They had Trap Team posters, and so I got one of those to hang up.
I'm holding him up to the camera right now for our live audience.
Now he is available at pretty much all Toys R Us locations. You might find a Toys R Us that doesn't have him, but he was kind of overloaded like the metallic Series 2 Gilgrunt was. But to start with the proper non-Chase, non-retailer exclusive variants, starting with Spyro's Adventure, there's just one. It is Dark Spyro. He was exclusive to the 3DS starter in the US, and then he got a single pack that was in the UK and the European Union. He was supposed to be given away at some sort of competition around that time, and there was also supposed to be a single pack that was going to make its way to the US, but that ended up, for whatever reason, not happening. For Giants, we have Glow-in-the-Dark Fright Rider. While he wasn't available in the US at all, he was available in the UK, the European Union, and Australia as a single pack character, and he wasn't exclusive to any particular retailer. You then have Punch Pop Fizz, another 3DS starter exclusive in the US and abroad. He ended up getting a single pack on a card in the European Union and the UK. He also ended up being available as a single through GameStop in 2014 through a promotion where you could bring in a portal, basically recycle a portal and they would give you one. But if I recall correctly, I think he was just a card sticker and figure in a baggie with one of their $999.99 stickers on them. I think that's how you got yours, wasn't it, Matt?
That's right, yep.
After that, we had Molten Hot Dog. He was available pretty much everywhere as soon as
as soon as Hot Dog launched, they went ahead and released the variant of him. Scarlet Ninjini, she was initially only able to be found at Toys R Us, but she was not exclusive to them. She did make appearances everywhere. I think I actually picked mine up at Walmart, believe it or not.
Doug, your wife just posted in the chat that you're having burritos for dinner, so I'm coming to your house, man.
You better get started if you want any. We have series, and this isn't an official name of this character. It's kind of a weird mutant character, and I'll explain why I called him a mutant.
Is it Bebop or Rocksteady?
No, it's
Okay.
Series 1.5 Double Trouble.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the way that you got that character was you went ahead and bought the Battleground starter, but you bought it somewhere other than GameStop, as I should have if I didn't talk about it when I talked about Royal Double Trouble in the Battlegrounds pack. Royal Double Trouble was a repaint of Series 1 Double Trouble and showed up in-game as Royal Double Trouble, and he was on a Giants base, but he was exclusive to GameStop for whatever reason. If you bought that same pack at any other retailer, you still got a Series 1 posed Double Trouble, and he showed up on a Giants base, but he reports as Series 2 Double Trouble. But he has his regular Series 1 paint job, so it's really kind of confusing. He is sort of a mutant amalgam of Series 1, Series 2, and everything in between. We have Gnarly Tree Rex, which a few folks tried to call out about how he should have been listed as an exclusive, except he really wasn't. He was exclusive to the blue Wii bundle in the U.S., and I think abroad he was part of some sort of special PS3 bundle. I don't know if the PS3 had any kind of special coloring on it or not, but they didn't bundle him with the Wii there. But right at the end of Giants, he ended up getting a single pack in the U.S., and I'm pretty sure he ended up with a single pack abroad as well. So I didn't count him as being any kind of chase or exclusive because of the fact that he did get a wider release than being stuck to a console later on. Final one in the list was almost as late a comer as the light core version of Hex was. We have Pumpkin Eyebrawl. I actually ended up with a couple of him for the fact that nobody knew for sure when he was coming out. He wasn't announced really during the Giants life cycle. I think he came out in like September. He came out like just prior to launch, so I ended up covering all of my bets, and then everything that I had pre-ordered shipped at the same time, and I couldn't cancel them, so I ended up giving one away and then opening one and then putting one on the wall. Just for those who don't know about Pumpkin Eyebrawl, he is just a physical variant. He is painted completely kind of gloss black for his body. There's no accent or anything paint on him, and then instead of him having the eyeball, there is kind of a Cyclops jack-o'-lantern and an actual orange ball where his eyeball would be. For Swap Force, we have Volcanic Eruptor, yet again another 3DS starter exclusive. He was available as a single through Best Buy both last year and again this year. I'm not sure what last year's promo was. This year, apparently there are a couple of promos. There was the initial one that we discussed last time, which was go into your Best Buy and demo the tablet version of Trap Team, and they would go ahead and give them to you. A couple other people reported that they were giving them away if you purchased, I think, like $5 or more of Skylanders merchandise. So it sounds like they're just trying to clear out what stock they had left over from whatever last year's promotion was. We had Springtime Trigger Happy, who was available everywhere.
My boy.
Yep, the standard non-fuzzy version. The fuzzy version was exclusive to Toys R Us, but the regular version, as well as the egg versions of Punk Shock and Frino, were available pretty much everywhere. I think I saw them first or at least I saw the pictures of them on the promotional cardboard standees at Walmart, but couldn't find them until I went to Toys R Us. Then we had Jolly Bumble Blast, Kickoff Countdown, Jade Firecracken, Quick Draw Rattleshake, who Quick Draw Rattleshake started out as a Frito-Lay contest exclusive, but he ended up getting a regular standard release at the end of the life cycle of Swap Force. And then we have, and this is going to seem weird that he's not listed as a retailer exclusive, we have Metallic Series 2 Gilgrunt. Currently, at this moment, there is only one way to get him, which is to go to Toys R Us and pick him up. But apparently, initially, he was given away at various EB Games and GameStop expos and convention appearances. And since EB Games and GameStop are clearly not Toys R Us and they ended up with these figures, I'm gonna call that not a retailer exclusive, because it's 2, 3 if you want to count EB Games and GameStop as separate entities, all selling the same figure. For Trap Team, we have the Dark Pack figures, Dark Food Fight, Dark Snapshot, and Dark Wildfire, because while the Dark Pack was exclusive to GameStop last year, it was everywhere this year. Then we have Winterfest Lobstar, Love Potion Pop Fizz, Excellent Weeruptor, Power Punch Petback, Gnarly Barkley, and King Cobra Kadabra. The last two of which, of course, have not yet hit shelves, but are hopefully being released ASAP. Gnarly Barkley, as we reported earlier, should be out by June the 3rd, and then we've got a GameStop release date for King Cobra Kadabra for the 27th of June.
Yep, hopefully.
Yep. And then just to wrap up, so that nobody's wringing their hands going, oh, well, you forgot this other stuff. I've got a list of non-figure variants and exclusives, and these are just things that were specifically not figures. And I will include the traps in that when I get to that point. For Spyro's Adventure, the only one that I could remember and think of was Best Buy, which had the Volcanic Vault. It was available if you pre-ordered Spyro's Adventure, and then later on there was another promotion offered where if you bought $25 worth of Skylanders merchandise, they would go ahead and give you one. And the thing was, as I found out, because I tried to get one for both myself and for Matt by purchasing $50 worth of merchandise, if you try to purchase $50 all at once, it would only give you one. So I ended up having to do 2 transactions to get a hold of them. But thankfully, both of us ended up with one that way, because they were going for some seriously stupid money even back in the Spyro's Adventures days.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that PvP comes back to Superchargers and that they make all those old levels available, and I can actually pull Volcanic Vault into the game and use it.
At the very least, have them unlock PvP levels, if not the actual adventure levels and stuff that some of the items did.
Yep.
For Giants, we have the Platinum Treasure Chest, which is not listed as exclusive because of the fact that it was included in every single package of the Battlegrounds starter pack. Was not just GameStop or Walmart or what have you. The interesting tidbit about this, and God bless Vicarious Visions for doing it, but kind of curse them a little bit at the same time. It's the only item that does not report what it actually is. It has a Giant's base, it's painted differently, but it's basically the exact same mold for the Pirate Treasure Chest from the Pirate Seas expansion from Spyro's Adventure, and it reports as that treasure chest, which is problematic because of the fact that you have this other item that it even has its own card. And Vicarious Visions, when they put together Swap Force, they actually created an item unlock for that in the collection screen, but you can't unlock it because it doesn't report as a Platinum Treasure Chest. So good job, guys, but unless you're going to pass out RFIDs to us to unlock that, just research a little bit harder next time. Not that you guys didn't do a great job, but I was frustrated beyond belief, going, why is this blank? But to move on, we have and this is not going to cover every item. I'm clearly not going to cover the things that were just in the adventure packs and in the standard battle packs and things, but GameStop during the Giants era did have an exclusive. It was the golden version of the Dragonfire cannon that was packed in, I think it was with Chop Chop and Shroom Boom. There was a standard version and a golden version, and while they were painted differently, they also showed up differently in-game and had different cards. So if you're a completionist, like I usually am, that's something to look out for. For Swap Force, the only one I could think of or remember was the Target exclusive, the UFO hat, and that was just the pre-order card for Swap Force that has the RFID chip in it that unlocks the UFO hat in your game. For Swap Force, it would unlock just the hat. In Trap Team, it unlocks both the hat as well as a listing in the collection screen as it being an item, even though it's not an item you can actually do anything with. For Trap Team, these are basically all going to be the different various traps. We have the Riot Shield Shredder variant. He's in the Life Torch trap. That was exclusive either to E3 in the US or in like the UK or the European Union as a pre-order exclusive for Trap Team. I ended up getting a UK one just for the fact that I was not willing to pay money for the E3 one and didn't care whether it said E3 or not. I wanted the trap. There was the Ultimate Chaos Trap, which was exclusive to the Dark Pack but otherwise available everywhere. The Steamed Broccoli Guy variant villain trap, that was the Life Toucan trap. That was exclusive to the Trap 8-pack that some people bought, some people didn't. You could get that pretty much everywhere. That also had the single, or rather it had the Tech Tiki trap in it, and that was the only way to get that particular trap at present. At the moment, we don't know that there is ever going to be a single version of that release, so if you're going to be a trap completionist, you have to get your hands on that 8-pack or try and buy that Tech Tiki separately. Then we've got the Easter Rabbit variant of the Earth Handstand trap, which does not appear as a different trap in-game, but it is a different physical trap for you to get your hands on. This time around, we have, for Target, the Outlaw Brawl and Chain variant villain trap. That was the water log holder trap. Those were available for purchase at Target at launch. They were initially supposed to be your pre-order bonus. I've actually got one of the pre-order cards where it said you were supposed to get it for free if you picked up your pre-order. I bought the card so I'd have the card, and initially was gonna buy an extra starter at Target, and then realized that Target was selling them to whoever, so I just picked up the traps and then didn't pick up my pre-order. Didn't need the extra one anyway. For Toys R Us, we actually have one item that is not going to be a trap. We have the legendary version of the Hand of Fate, which is in the legendary Nightmare Express Adventure Pack. That was available at launch. It had legendary blades in it. The Piggy Bank and Nightmare Express are normal, but the Hand of Fate does appear with a gold paint job versus being the glow-in-the-dark thing, which to me makes it less appealing, but it is a variant thing, so again, if you're going to be a completionist, you got to pick it up. Toys R Us also had the Red Hot Tussle Sprout variant villain trap. That is the Earth Totem trap. That was the last one that was released. We're still waiting on the actual final one. They also had 3 legendary traps that do appear different in-game. They don't do anything different. They just have different actual paint job for the trap, and then they do show up as separate ones in-game. There was a legendary Water Jughead trap, the legendary Undead Orb trap, and the legendary Undead Skull trap. And then to wrap this up and put a bow on it, we have GameStop. We have the Rebel Lobgoblin variant villain trap, which was the light rocket trap. That was just a shambles. I guys remember me complaining about this a while back. Don't know that everybody necessarily had my experience with it, but it was pretty problematic for me to get my hands on. And then I'm not 100% sure that this is a GameStop exclusive, but right now GameStop is the only one who is reporting any of this in their inventory system. It is the Steampunk Shredknot variant villain trap, which is the last of the variant villain traps to come out. It's supposed to be the Flying Tech Helmet trap. And right now, again, GameStop is the only one who's reporting any availability or any launch date on this. So I'm reporting it at the moment as a GameStop exclusive. If not, then I apologize, but there it is. We are done with, at the moment until the next game, all of the variants of one type or another.
Awesome. So save up your lunch money and go buy all of those variants that we've been talking about for the past month.
And if anybody is still awake, we are just about at the point where we are gonna let you yell at us and answer your questions.
I just opened my Eon's Elite Terrafin while you were doing that, Doug. He's pretty cool. I like punching stuff, and I like being a shark man. Can you still hear me, Doug?
Yep, I can.
Okay, awesome. All right, so yeah, let's thank you for that. Very informative. What was that, a 4-part or 5-part series on variants?
Something like that.
Yep. I know we skipped a week last week, but okay, let's do some fan feedback, guys. This is your opportunity to ask us questions live on the show. So let me go back through the chat here and see if anybody has asked any fascinating questions for us so far.
Looks like everybody except for Emily and Cuddle have pretty much nodded off, and Hoarder Gamer's back there a little while, but Emily and Cuddle are just back and forth for the last who knows how long.
Do I need a passport to go to Canada? So that's one question. Doug, do you know the answer to that?
Yep, I actually typed that into the chat. After 9/11, the U.S. started not letting U.S. citizens back into the U.S. if you didn't have your passport to present, and basically after getting snubbed by the U.S. because of the U.S. acting like that, which we're not going to talk about whether it's a good thing, bad thing, justified or not. But after that snub to Canada, Canada started requiring U.S. citizens to have to present their passport to get into Canada. Probably so that they didn't get stuck with whiny Americans going, "Why won't I can't get it back into the U.S. passport?"
Liquefy X wants to know, so why are you playing a kid game you're like 30?
Because it's awesome.
So I doubt that you're still in our chat, if you are. Typically, I play Skylanders with my daughter, Abby, who is 6 years old. We started playing the game together when she was 3 going on 4 when the original game came out, and it's kind of been a family tradition for us, something that we do together and we enjoy. In the process of doing that, we started this website and this Twitch stream, and we have lots of great loyal fans who are also Skylanders fans who tune in to watch us play, and I feel obligated, even though Abby's not around sometimes, to stream and to do this podcast that we're doing right now, and also because I like it and I can do whatever I want. How's that for an answer?
That's kind of a Cartman-esque answer, but saying.
I do what I want. Okay, let's see. Jana said that she got the boy and girl Inkling today. Oh, I'm so jealous. So jealous. I want those so bad. I'm going to keep my eyes open. Hopefully I'll get them afterwards. Mr. Nadix doesn't understand why they always make us enter the upgrade every time you buy one. I think that's annoying. That's going back to when I was upgrading Blackout and talking about how we have to listen to Persephone say, ready for another magical upgrade all the time. I agree. That's super annoying.
Amen. We should have upgrade pods from here on out, and not have. I mean, even if we have to put up with her, she needs to be the one running the upgrade pods. Once you're in that pod, you should just be able to hammer the buy button and then hop out and run away from her, and cover your ears, and go no until you're out of range.
Yeah, until you run out of money. Let's see. I saw a couple of questions scroll by earlier, so I'm trying to make my way back up to them, but I don't know if Twitch chat is going to let me go all the way back up.
Cuddle Muffin accused me of working for E3 and hyping E3 earlier on. I do not, in fact, work for E3, and I am not in that business. I unfortunately do phone customer service.
Was he accusing you of hyping E3, or was he just saying E3 hype, like he's excited for E3?
Well, he said E3 hype, and then after that it says, I think that's what Doug does.
Okay. Mega Collector Doug, have you tested Splatoon already? From Jana.
I have not, just for the fact that when they were first putting everything out, and I think they ended up putting it out a second time with more reasonable hours, but basically it was... what I got had Pacific times on it instead of it translating automatically in my email for Eastern times. And basically it was like, get up at 5 in the morning and play Splatoon, and then wait until midnight and play Splatoon. And I was just like, get bent. No.
Let's see. And of course I talked about that earlier. Cuddle Muffin wants to know, why isn't Gusto in the All-Star wave that's coming out?
Because he's still in Matt's trash can.
Oh, wow. So many things we could say there, Cuddle Muffin. I think it was a rhetorical question, though. Okay.
Oh, JAP28 is in the channel. He has just asked, so what time does the show start now?
We're still nailing that down, but I think about 6 o'clock is going to be our start time, so 6 p.m. When I have the final official information, I'm going to put it up on the website and tweet it out or anything. The past couple of weeks have been a weird kind of transitional period for us. We had Memorial Day weekend, and I had a birthday party, and we had lots of in real life stuff going on, so I wasn't able to really put the time and effort into the website and to scheduling things that I wanted to. But we're going to get back on track here pretty shortly. And Jap28 also said, great podcast last week. Thank you very much, Jap28. It was a really fun show to do. And I know you joined us late, so I'll go ahead and tell you this right now. We were doing the podcast live right now as kind of an experiment, so that's why we're reading off all these questions from the chat. Okay, guys, well, let me just do a quick check on our usual fan feedback channels here, just to make sure we don't leave anybody else out. I always feel really bad when I forget to include somebody that's left us a good comment. Doug, why don't you talk some more about how you feel about Amiibos or Disney Infinity or Persephone or something like that while I'm checking it out here.
So you want me to be curmudgeonly and grump up the channel while you're digging around? Is that what you're asking me?
No, I'm just picking on you a little bit. Doesn't look like we have any new iTunes reviews, so I'll go ahead and throw this out there too. If I can reach this without totally taking off my headphones. Today is the last day, well really today / tomorrow is really your last chance to get in your entries for our Light and Dark Element expansion pack. So here is our Dark Element expansion pack. Here is our Light Element expansion pack. We are giving those away to our social media followers. There's a post about it up on the website, minikaboom.com. Basically, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and share and retweet our posts about the contest, and you'll be entered to win. I will be doing the drawing for those tomorrow. So today's Saturday when we're recording. You are probably hearing this on Sunday or Monday, hopefully Sunday, if the live version of this turns out as good as we hope. And so that means that you'll probably be able to, after you hear this, go check Twitter or go check Facebook to see if you won that contest. But for all of you that have joined us live, you do have just a little bit more time left to get your entries in for those. So yeah, as we're doing the wrap up here, guys, let us know what you thought about the live show here. It's definitely something that we've talked about doing for a long time, and we're doing our pre-show discussion today, and we just said, hey, why don't we just throw it out there as kind of a surprise thing and see how it goes, and if there are any major problems, we can work out the kinks later. And it's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing the show this way, Doug, didn't you?
Yeah, it definitely turned out pretty decently. I was a little bit much in the realm of prep, but I think now that we know exactly how to get set up for something like this, it probably won't be nearly so problematic in the future.
The only thing I'm worried about, and I won't really know until we hit stop and go back and listen to it, is how the audio sounded with all the in-game stuff going on underneath it. That may be a little annoying for the folks listening on the podcast version of the show, so if that was the case and you made it this far, then I certainly apologize, and we'll try to figure something out for next time. But the next time that we do a live show, we will give you guys a heads up so you can kind of plan a little bit better to join us and hang out with us and ask questions and things like that. I hope you're all very excited about Skylanders Superchargers, and I know I'll be watching my Twitter feed like crazy this week, waiting on the announcement that we're supposed to get. Anything else you want to add, Doug, before we wrap things up here?
Not especially. Although Hoarder Gamer and I have been going back and forth, for the last couple of minutes as you and I have been talking. I've been talking with him in the channel. He mentioned that at $100, to start, he thinks that Lego Dimensions is going to be dead in the water, and my opinion is well known at this point, but I agree. Their add-on packs are like $40 to $50 a pop. Their starter is $100. Their individual like character and a vehicle things are like $25 to $30. No.
Yeah, they're desperately groping for money at this point. They want to be included in Toys to Life, but they're applying Lego, or at least the current Lego pricing, to this stuff. I don't recall Lego being so incredibly outrageously expensive when I was a kid. I remember being able to go out and pick up, the small, mini packs, or at least my parents picked them up for me. They were, maybe like $3 to $5 for a small vehicle with a guy, or like a pack of 5 or 6 minifigures that went with whatever world it was that I was interested at that point. And then they scaled up from there. You'd still spend like $40-50 on like a castle, or medium-sized castle anyway, something like that, or a big space fort or a big spaceship. But now you're looking at, and I'm not really looking at the piece counts so much as I am the size of the things, because if they have like a 30 piece count, and the thing is, it's the size of 2 Trap Masters, well, that's going to run you like $40 or $50 Lego wise, but they have so many proprietary pieces built into that it looks a lot bigger than it really is, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of replayability. Lego is just anymore, they're robbing their fans. They've kind of lost what I think it made them special, in that they appealed to kids, and kids really played with them. And now that you have so many adult fans of Lego, and there's actually a documentary out there called Awful, AFOL, that talks about those people. Those are the people that you see in the media, where it's all, somebody built a minifigure scaled Serenity and it has 150,000 pieces in it. Well, at the roughly going rate of about 10 cents per piece, that's 15 grand that they've spent in just parts and pieces. I mean, if they've bought those wholesale, they spent 15 grand for all those parts. If they bought them as parts of other sets that they had to buy, they spent a lot more. Lego's missing the fact that it seems like anymore the people that actually have a ton of Lego available to them and are actually getting to play with their product are adults, and not the kids that they were originally marketed to to be played with by.
I think they're just
they're overshooting.
Well,
if it's going to be kids that are playing with this stuff, at least with any kind of decent amount, it's going to be rich people's kids.
They may be, but think about it like this: if they come into the market at let's say $75 for a starter, they can't ever go above that, or there will be outrage. If they come into the market at $100 for the starter, and people say, nope, no thanks, I'm going to pass, then they've got plenty of room to say, oh, hey, Black Friday, starter's $75. Meanwhile, all the other starters for the other games are getting discounted as well, but at least they're coming down. So basically, they've got nowhere to go but down. I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. You're absolutely right.
They're burning their PR and their credibility to start off with, because the starter comes with 3 minifigures. 3 minifigures.
But they're not. They're banking on
McDonald's toy.
They're banking on parents, basically, who are, like you said, are going to be buying this, and the kids who are looking at the commercials. They're banking on those parents not being Toys to Life diehard consumers, to where they're going to look at this and go, no, this isn't a good value compared to these other games that give me similar experiences and are priced lower. They're just looking at it and going, oh, they're going to see Lego, they're going to see the properties that are in Lord of the Rings, whatever, Batman, and they're going to buy it. That's what they're banking on. I mean, they're not looking at it from the same, perspective that we are. So
I don't know. I think that some sales will go that way, but I'm thinking it'll end up being a flop, because more parents are price conscious than ever, and they'll look at it, and if they're buying video games for their kids regularly, they're going to go, okay, I'm spending $60 for a video game for you regularly. This thing, for an extra $40, you're giving me 3 minifigures and a McDonald's Happy Meal toy? No. No.
They're not going to look at it like that, though. They're going to look at it as the experience of, oh, it's like the Skylanders game, but with Legos, and Lego is a brand that I know, and okay, yeah, I'll pay a little bit more for that. I don't think they're gonna break it down into a value proposition. Most people won't anyway. I mean, they absolutely should, because all the things that we've said about the value of it are correct. Anyway.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Speaking of upcoming games, Hoarder Gamer would like us to talk a little bit more about Superchargers and speculate a little bit. I think we've done a pretty good amount of speculation already on episode 16 when we learned about the name of the game and everything for the first time. Um, Now, at least where I'm coming from, I feel like I'm ready to just have some real information. We speculated about all we can speculate at this point. I'm ready to just learn what's going on. Um, I will say this: the way that the announcement, or not the announcement, but the way the product description read in on the Amazon thing really made me rethink the whole vehicles thing, because you brought up a really good point last week, Doug. You were talking about, we were talking about like, oh, these vehicles are going to be huge because they're going to have to, hold, a full-size Skylander in them, so they're going to be the size of Barbie cars or whatever. And then you brought up the idea of similar to Swap Force, where you snap the top half of the figure off and snap it into the vehicle or whatever. I really do think it's going to be something more like that now that I've read the way that they announced it, because it sounds to me like only the superchargers are going to be able to ride in the vehicles. Is that what you got from the announcement?
That's what I took from it, but honestly, I'm thinking that the other idea I presented of there being a portal that it kind of looks like a car, and then you have something akin to the traps that you drop in that would be the placeholder for the car. I'm thinking that might be a little more likely, because the description said that the two figures included, probably the dragon guy that we've seen the demo of, but definitely a stealth elf figure, are both superchargers.
Okay.
It says you get two superchargers, and stealth elf, who is classically a core figure, she's supposed to be one of them. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to make a stealth elf figure that you can dismember.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a really good point.
One thing that, thinking about how this is potentially going to play out, I'm thinking that there's probably going to be at least one level, maybe like all the way at the end. And spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't finished Halo 3, I think there's probably going to be at least one level that is akin to the end of Halo 3, where you're driving the Warthog, just all out, with the world falling out from under you, behind you, and you're just racing to beat the clock and not fall off that, that structure that you're on and leap the thing into the back of the ship. I think you're probably going to have like one of the Skylands islands and maybe like a boss chasing you, and you're just driving for everything you're worth, trying to stay on solid ground. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah. I can picture that in my head. If there is not a scene where you are driving some crazy vehicle off of a cliff and landing it onto the back of Flynn's airship, then I will consider that a massive storytelling failure. Oh, man. Well, Hoarder Gamer, I don't know if you were around earlier on in the show, but we did commit to whenever the announcement happens, and Cuddle Muffin's actually saying that there's, they could possibly do it early because of the leak, which is a very real possibility. Doug and I are going to get together and do a special episode of the podcast. So if you're not subscribed to our podcast, head over to minikaboom.com, and there's a tab specifically for the Skylanders podcast. Just click on that, get signed up, and then the day that we have announcement news, we'll get back together and do a special show just talking about it, and we'll unburden ourselves of all of our thoughts on that topic. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the live show. It's been a fun experiment, and I think we'll definitely do this again sometime. We'll let you guys know ahead of time so you can get ready to have some more questions for us, and we may even try to work it out so that you can call in to the show and talk to us live on the show. I think that would be really fun. There are some technical things we got to work out to make that happen, but it's certainly a very real possibility. Don't forget about the giveaway. Go get your entries in. You've got a limited time to do that. By the time you're hearing this on the podcast, the giveaway will be over. Hey, it's the Hungry Gamer. Hey, welcome, man. Sorry, we're just wrapping up here, but thanks for joining us. Saturday night Skylanders, which is what we're kind of doing right now. We're going to continue to do that. We're shooting for about a 6 p.m. start time, but I'll drop more information about that once we have it all finalized and official. As always, be sure to check out minikaboom.com for all of our latest news, videos, giveaways, etc. We would love for you to go leave us a review on iTunes. Just go there and say these guys rock and give us 5 stars. It takes less than a minute of your time and it really helps us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at mini_kaboom. You can find us on Facebook and Google Plus with mini kaboom, no space. If you'd like to call in and leave us a voicemail for an upcoming episode of the podcast, there's a very good chance that we'll read that on the air. Our voicemail line is 913-703-MINI. That's 913-703-6464. And if you are not in the U.S. or you don't want to make a long-distance phone call, you can go to speakpipe.com/minikaboom, and you can leave us a voicemail digitally there without having to use a phone. That's about all I have. I'm just going to go and set up a Google alert for Skylanders Superchargers so I know exactly when the news drops this week.
Yeah, everybody remember, around midnight, probably if it was like it was the last time, midnight, I guess it'd be, UK time, go ahead and start hitting refresh on your browsers, because I think they dropped everything, not necessarily at like 8 a.m. or 12 a.m. or whatever, but all the reporters were initially allowed to talk before the official press conference and everything from Activision last time. So, wherever you're at, the moment that it becomes the third, start hitting refresh.
All right, guys. Well, hang in there for a few more days, and then hopefully we'll have some very real stuff to talk about next time. That's going to do it for episode 17 of the Skycast, and we are out.